The glittering lights of Elysium Station cast myriad reflections across the polished crystalline floor of the Galactic Council chamber. Ambassador Mira Sato stood with perfect posture at the center of the vast circular room, her Navy diplomatic uniform bearing the simple insignia of Earth's United Systems. She kept her expression neutral, despite the mounting tension that had filled the chamber for the past 6 hours. "The Council's decision is final," High Magistrate Vezar announced, his crystalline form shifting colors from cool blue to an agitated amber. The tall, translucent being's voice resonated through the chamber with the sound of chimes striking against glass. "Humanity will remain confined within its current 47-system boundary. No extensions, no exceptions." Mira maintained her composure, even as her heart sank. 6 months of negotiations, all for nothing. "Magistrate, respectfully, our growing population requires—" "Your species reproduces at an alarming rate," interrupted the Thra Hive delegate. A shifting mass of iridescent insectoid creatures that formed a roughly humanoid shape. "That is not the concern of this council." Admiral Kailas of the Zepyrian Empire, a tall, reptilian figure with obsidian scales and ceremonial battle scars, leaned forward from his elevated seat. "Perhaps the humans should focus on population control rather than territorial expansion. Your kind has only been spacefaring for 3 centuries. The Zepyrian Empire has maintained stable borders for 12 millennia." Colonel Raj Patel stood silently beside Mira, his military bearing rigid, but his dark eyes calculating as they scanned the room. As Earth's military advisor, his presence was merely ceremonial in these diplomatic proceedings, or so the Council believed. "If I may address the resource concerns," Mira began again, her voice steady. "There is nothing further to address." Vezar's crystalline form pulsed with bright flashes of orange and red. "The Council has deliberated. The human question has consumed enough of our attention." Mira attempted one last approach. "Perhaps a probationary period." "Enough!" Vezar's form shattered into thousands of crystalline shards that hovered in the air before reassembling into his humanoid shape, a dramatic display of crystalline emotion that silenced the chamber. "The Council's patience has reached its limit. Return to your systems, Ambassador. You have 72 standard hours to withdraw all petition materials and formally acknowledge the containment boundaries." "And if we do not?" Colonel Patel spoke for the first time, his voice quiet but carrying an undercurrent of steel. The chamber grew so silent that Mira could hear the soft hum of the station's life support systems. "Then the Galactic Council will consider humanity in breach of its containment agreement, and appropriate measures will be taken," Admiral Kailas replied, a thin smile revealing rows of sharp teeth. "Appropriate measures," Patel repeated flatly. "Extinction is preferable to galactic instability," the Thra Hive delegate chittered. "History has shown that unchecked expansion of aggressive species leads inevitably to war." Mira bowed her head slightly. "The Council's position is understood. Earth's delegation requests formal transmission of the final decision for our records." "Granted," Vezar responded, his form settling into a cool purple hue. "This session is concluded." As the delegates began to disperse, Mira's neural implant received a private signal from Earth Command. "Foliage protocol imminent." 3 simple words that changed everything. She and Colonel Patel maintained perfect diplomatic decorum as they exited the chamber, nodding respectfully to the other delegates. Only when they reached the secure confines of the Earth Embassy section did Mira allow her shoulders to slump slightly. "6 months wasted," she murmured. Patel's expression remained unreadable. "Not wasted, Ambassador. Necessary." "They're going to move against us, aren't they?" "They've been planning to for years," Patel replied. "We just needed to be certain of their intentions." "And now we are—" Mira moved to the encrypted communication terminal and placed her palm on the scanner. "Confirmation code, Sato, 7729 Echo. Transmit. Diplomatic avenues exhausted. Council hostile. Repeat. Council hostile." The terminal pulsed green in acknowledgement. "What happens now?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Now," Patel said, "we show them the forest for the trees." In a hidden facility buried 2 kilometers beneath the surface of the planet, Ross 128b. Dr. Lena Ortiz stared at the cascade of data flowing across her screens. After 30 years overseeing dormant infrastructure, the activation signals were finally arriving. Energy signatures spiking across all sectors, her assistant reported. "The Kepler facilities are coming online. Wolf 359 reporting ready status. Vega automated shipyards beginning production sequences." Lena watched as hundreds of dots on the galactic map began to glow green, far beyond the publicly acknowledged 47 systems of human territory. The true extent of human preparation, 420 systems with hidden infrastructure, carefully established over the past century. "Status of the Centauri sector?" she asked. "Fleet assets reporting ready. Dr. Ortiz. Stealth systems functioning at optimal levels." She nodded, feeling the weight of 100 years of preparation culminating in this moment. "Begin full activation sequence. Authorization Ortiz Foliage Prime." The facility hummed with renewed purpose as long-dormant machines awakened. What had once been a contingency was now humanity's salvation. "Dr. Ortiz," called Lieutenant Aaron Song from the communication station. "We're intercepting transmissions from multiple alien networks. They're panicking." Lena moved to his station. "Let me hear." The translated voices filled the command center. "Massive energy signatures where there should be nothing. Hidden facilities in the Vega sector. Impossible. Human expansion was contained. Shipyard production at unprecedented levels." "They're detecting our activation," Song said. "As expected," Lena replied. "They've had observation posts near our borders for decades." "What about the military channels?" Song adjusted the settings. "The Zephyrian Empire is mobilizing their 3rd fleet. The Thra Collective is redirecting hive ships. The Vex Confederation." He paused. "The Vex are ordering the immediate harvesting of 3 frontier worlds inhabited by the Kalari." Lena's blood ran cold. The Kalari were a peaceful, pre-FTL civilization that had only recently been discovered. "They're creating a distraction, sacrificing the Kalari to redirect our attention." "It's working," Song said grimly. "Command is requesting deployment orders." Lena took a deep breath. The moment she had both dreaded and prepared for had arrived. "Transmit Operation Greenwave protocols to all command centers. Priority targets: Zephyrian Siege Fleet, Vex Harvesting Flagship, Thra Assimilation Nodes." The lieutenant's fingers flew across the console. "Transmission complete. First wave vessels breaking stealth in 30 seconds. On the main display, hundreds of dots representing human warships began to emerge from hidden positions throughout the galaxy. "May our strength be enough," Lena whispered, "and may we use it wisely." The Kalari homeworld glowed blue-green against the darkness of space, its ring system sparkling in the light of its sun. Unaware of the interstellar politics that had made them targets, the 6-limbed sentients continued their daily lives in their floating cities among the clouds. Approaching from the system's edge, the massive Vex harvesting vessel prepared its collection arrays. The Vex, silicon-based entities with a hive mind spanning dozens of star systems, considered organic life merely another resource to be processed and utilized. "Harvesting sequence initiated," announced the Vex Prime Processor. "Estimated completion, 6 standard hours. Expected yield, 18 million units of biological material." The massive ship deployed its forward collectors, energy fields extending to envelop the planet's atmosphere. Without warning, a ripple appeared in the space between the harvester and the planet. Then another, and another. Where there had been empty space moments before, 12 human vessels now hung in perfect formation. Their sleek, dark hulls absorbed rather than reflected light, making them appear as voids against the stars. "Unidentified vessels detected," The VEX processor announced. Scanning. Human designation confirmed. Weapons detected. Defensive protocols engaging. Before the VEX vessel could power its weapons, a transmission cut through all frequencies. This is General Haruna Saito of the Earth Defense Fleet. The Kalari system is now under human protection. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. The VEX, unused to resistance, responded with characteristic efficiency. Human interference not recognized. Harvesting will proceed. Very well, came the calm reply. The human vessels moved with unexpected speed, splitting into 3 groups that surrounded the much larger VEX ship. Precision strikes disabled the harvester's collection arrays within seconds. Warning, critical systems compromised. The VEX processor announced. Attempting countermeasures. But the VEX ship's massive size made it an easy target. The human vessels continued their coordinated assault, methodically disabling propulsion, weapons, and finally life support. This is your final warning. General Saito transmitted. Power down all systems and prepare for boarding, or we will be forced to destroy your vessel. For the first time in its existence, the VEX Collective hesitated. Its hive mind calculated potential outcomes and found no scenario where it prevailed. Compliance, the processor finally responded, awaiting instructions. Admiral Kailas paced the command deck of the Zepyrian flagship, his tail lashing with agitation. How is this possible? Our intelligence said they had 47 systems. 47! His second in command, a female with darker scales and sharper claws, studied the tactical display. The humans concealed their true expansion. These facilities appear to have been built decades ago, some perhaps a century. A century of deception, Kailas hissed, while they smiled and signed our containment agreements. Admiral, the sensor officer called out. Multiple vessels detected approaching the Thra assimilation world. Human signatures. Kailas slammed his fist into the metallic railing, denting it. They're attacking on all fronts simultaneously. How many ships do they have? Unknown, Admiral. They appear to be using some form of advanced stealth technology. They're only becoming visible when they choose to engage. The communications officer interrupted. Admiral, we're receiving a direct transmission from its Ambassador Sato. Kailas straightened his ceremonial armor. On screen. Mira, Sato's face appeared on the main display, her expression solemn but determined. Admiral Kailas, I trust you're receiving similar reports to those reaching the Council. Human forces are currently engaged in 3 operations, preventing the VEX harvesting of the Kalari, halting your siege fleet, and liberating the forced assimilates from the Thra Collective. This is an act of war, Ambassador, Kailas snarled. No, Admiral. This is an act of protection, the very purpose your council claims to serve, yet fails to fulfill. Her eyes hardened. The Kalari are innocent. The assimilates deserve freedom, and your fleet was preparing a preemptive strike against human worlds. Kailas fell silent, unable to deny the accusation. We've revealed only a fraction of our capabilities, Mira continued. Stand down your forces, return to your territory, and prepare for a new diplomatic reality. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Admiral, his second prompted, your orders? Kailas stared at the tactical display, watching as more human ships appeared at strategic points throughout the sector. The truth dawned on him with terrible clarity. They had been outmaneuvered before the game even began. Recall all forces, he said quietly. Immediately. On the Thra assimilation world, the scenario played out differently. The insectoid collective had been forcibly incorporating other species into their hive for millennia, using neural parasites to connect captive minds to the greater consciousness. The human strike force, led by Colonel Patel himself, had deployed with surgical precision. Drop pods containing specialized troops landed directly at key neural connection nodes across the planet's surface. Team Alpha in position, reported a squad leader through the tactical net. Neural suppressors active. We're registering thousands of disconnected minds. Similar reports came in from teams across the surface. The human forces weren't destroying the Thra. They were liberating their victims. In the central hive structure, Patel faced the physical manifestation of the Thra Queen, a massive insectoid creature surrounded by specialized drones. "Your actions are incomprehensible," the Queen communicated through a chorus of drone voices. "These beings are part of us now. Their individuality was willingly surrendered." "We've analyzed the neural patterns," Patel replied calmly. "They show the distinctive signs of coercion. There was nothing willing about their surrender." The Queen's compound eyes gleamed. "What will you do, human? Kill me? Destroy the hive? Billions will die, including your precious freed minds." "We're not here to destroy," Patel said. "We're here to establish boundaries. The forced assimilation ends today. Those who wish to leave your collective will be granted safe passage. Those who truly wish to stay may do so." "And if we refuse these terms?" Patel's expression didn't change. "Then we'll be forced to demonstrate why that would be unwise." As if on cue, the Queen received a neural transmission from hive members across the galaxy. Everywhere, human ships were appearing, hundreds of them, emerging from stealth near every major Thra world. "Impossible," the drone voices whispered in unison. "Your kind was contained." "We let you believe that," Patel said simply. "Now, shall we discuss those terms?" Aboard Unity Station, 1 year later. Ambassador Mira Sato looked out at the assembled delegates with a sense of cautious optimism. Representatives from dozens of species, many of whom had never before been granted a voice in galactic affairs, filled the newly constructed chamber. "The inaugural session of the Galactic Preservation Accord is now in session," she announced. "Before we begin the formal proceedings, I invite you all to observe a moment of reflection on the events that brought us here." The chamber fell silent. In that year, the galaxy had transformed. The revelation of humanity's true reach, 420 systems with hidden infrastructure and fleets, had shattered the old power structure. But instead of using that power to dominate, humanity had extended protection to vulnerable species and offered partnership to former adversaries. Not all had accepted. The Vex Confederation had retreated to its core systems, isolating itself from galactic affairs. But the Zephyrian Empire, pragmatic as always, had quickly adjusted to the new reality. Even the Thra Collective had adapted, allowing its component species self-determination while maintaining a voluntary core consciousness. "Today, we sign the Accord," Mira continued after the silence ended. "Not as conquerors and conquered, not as superior and inferior species, but as equals committed to a single principle. The strong must protect the weak, not exploit them." As the delegates rose to signal their assent, a transmission appeared on the main display. It showed a garden on a distant world where children of multiple species, human, Zephyrian, Kalari, and dozens more, gathered to plant a memorial tree beneath a shared sky. The broadcast was introduced by Dr. Omar Al-Sabah, whose calm voice carried across the stars. "Let this be our creed: strength as shield, not sword; power as protection, not dominion; unity as choice, not compulsion." The tree's roots took hold in the soil as the saplings from 100 worlds watched. Its branches reached toward the sky, not in conquest, but in growth. Mira watched the scene with quiet satisfaction. The galaxy had feared humanity's hidden strength, only to discover something more powerful: humanity's hidden wisdom. As the first signatures were recorded on the Accord, she caught Colonel Patel's eye across the chamber. He gave her the slightest of nods. A soldier acknowledging that the hardest victory was not won through force of arms, but through force of principle. The Foliage Protocol, named for the hidden network that had grown silently throughout the galaxy, had been designed as humanity's last defense. Instead, it had become the galaxy's new beginning. In the garden of distant stars, the memorial tree's first leaves unfurled toward the light.